Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
You can
Hello,
introduce yourself
everyone.
and then continue.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Andini Kartikasari. I am 17 years old. Nice to meet all of you. So today we will talk about unmasking the devastating health effects of Jakarta's air pollution. So without any further ado, let's get started. The first slide is, what do you think about air pollution? Who will go first? Okay. Mr. Febrian Shah, take your time. No?
All right, my opinion about air pollution, um, because of maybe industry make something that can affect and be really bad to us to consume, especially for our health.
That's it?
Yes, that's my opinion.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Febrian Shah. Another? Okay, Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
I think the air pollution is not as simple as we thought, because there is connected to other problem also, like economical and social and environment also, and then and education also. And I think if we want to talk about the air pollution, you have to consider a lot of factors, and then don't be rushed about these matters, because it will be impact to for some people that might be they need I don't know, maybe a direction or help. I don't know, because like the economical, for the example, in one part they have to produce with the low budget, and they have to save everything, and you expected them to you burdening them to maintain the environment. In some case it's like impossible for them to take the burden. Yeah, and for the uneducated people, you have to be like, I didn't mean that patient have not, like, in the end of the time, not like that. It's like control birth. The government at that time, they are mendampingi itu apa ya? They are accompany the society. They give the education, and they help the society also with the access to birth control, until the society can accept the idea and the habit into their daily life. And also about the air pollution, moreover, it like I said, it more complex, yeah, because it relates to the social problems and economical problems, and also environment problems. Yeah, like the company itself, they have more money, but if you didn't arrange them or didn't make a system that make them easier to maintain the environment, it will be difficult also for them, because like I said, they have to run their business with a lowest budget, and sometimes they have to cut their wages for their employee for survive, and they have to pay taxes, they have to contribution for politics also, and they have to provide their family, also to serve the society. It's many burden. They have many obligation, yeah, and I think for this problem you cannot just um, dictate them, because the problems is connected each other. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. Another? I think we will move the next slide. The next slide is, where does you think air pollution come from? Anyone? Okay. Miss Sophie, take your time.
Yeah, I think as we can see that it's spread all over the internet and TV that the majority air pollution are coming from the vehicles on the road, but also we can deny the fact that a high amount of person it's also coming from industry, especially private industry. And when we're talking about in Jakarta, we can see that how miserable the industry are built everywhere, and then people are using their private vehicles. We can see there are such a long traffic for in any hours, even though of course there are still more people using trains, but it's not enough. I think the city just not built ideally to people, to encourage people to use more public transport or bikes, or the road for the walkers. The city are just not designed like that, so we cannot really blaming the people who are using private transportations, since the government itself doesn't really provide us the road for the bikes and the walkers, so we kindly don't have an option to rather than use private. So when the question is where are the pollution coming from, I think two majority factors is are industry and then vehicles. I think that's it, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sophie. Another? Mr. Abdul Jabbar, take your time.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Hope can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, so if we talk about air population, where does the air population come from? I believe that especially in Jakarta, there's a lot of research that told us about that the pollution, the majority of the air pollution came from the power plants near Jakarta. If we look at the maps, there's around more than 10 power plants uh, around Jakarta in 100 kilometers. So most of the source that I read that the majority of the air pollution are come from the power plants. However, it is undeniable that in Jakarta and maybe in most of the city, we also should consider the air pollution that come from the private transportation such as cars and motorcycle. And also, we also need to consider the habit of Indonesian people to burn their trash, which also I think emit a lot of air pollution in the household.
That's it?
Yes, that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abdul Jabbar. Anyone? Miss Suci Indah, take your time.
Okay, thank you for the chance. So I just want to sum it up from Ms. Sophie and Mr. Abdul Jabbar. Yes, I do agree with both of them that Ms. Sophie said before that the the most causes of the air pollution is from the vehicle and also from the industry. And also Mr. Abdul Jabbar said that other than that, actually the habit of the people or the lifestyle of Indonesian people, it's can be the causes of the air pollution itself in Jakarta especially. So for me, actually, that the air pollution is come from the problem of it's not a problem, it's just like economical issues, economic issues, and then education, and also the lifestyles or social life of Indonesian actually. So so it's come from the humans, actually humans, and then it's destroyed and leads to contaminated our environment, which can damage the human, animal, and also plants. So actually, to sum it up, actually it's humans doing. It's just like, but for me, actually, when I heard about the vehicle, for some other than Jakarta, actually some cities already, the government also already tried to facilitate some like for bicycles, road, and the other thing, but the lifestyle that we have in Indonesia, it just cannot that kind of things still can't can be a solution of the air pollution actually. So for me, actually, other than the industry and also the vehicle, actually lifestyle of the people in Indonesia can be the causes for the air pollution. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ucinda. Anyone? Yes. Okay, Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
Yeah, I do agree that air pollution is from industry, power plant, and vehicles. I do agree about that. But we don't need. It's not enough if just we just know the causes. But I think we also have to apa ya causes of to overcome the problem also, because if it connected to the social or economical, it can be worse, yeah, maybe, because like if you are overcome the problems but makes people in suffering or difficulty, you will have another problem, right? And then I think the alternative to overcome the solution is also vari variant, yeah, not only one, like you have to do this just like this only, not like that, because like if you you cannot prepare to overcome the difficult problems, maybe you can find some alternative, like not cutting the trees, or using the power plant that more friendly for the environment. And maybe like you can use your taxes for helping the society, mostly if they need to fix their vehicles, they have to right to being helping by the government also. And also like the apa wasting system, the taxes, it's also can be very useful if the government helping the companies to process their waste, and it will be advantage for the society also, because they can have the more clean area, something like that. So it's, you have to be proactive, yeah, don't just you are dictate them and prohibited them to stop for what they're doing, but you didn't give solution for the economical or social problems. I think it cannot be like that, yeah, because the society also need to be protected and to be helping by the government, because if you didn't care about your society, then the government will be fight for others. They will be think that DA is better than B, but nobody will overcome the mess up. That's the problem. And the taxes will be used for political wasting and for arrogance and for um, project that's very ambition, and you are abandon your own society and they left behind. And how about the uneducated people? You need have to educate them also. You cannot say that you cannot do this, but you didn't give them solution. It will be yeah, complex, yeah. So I think we do agree that air pollution is become from industry, vehicles, and power plant. But the problem is you have to be um, proactive of that, and don't you like public transportation. Maybe if for the people they just work 9 to 5, it's you can forcing them to use the public transportation, but how if they have to deliver their products or they have to use their vehicles for their small business? You if you are too strict to them and they cannot provide for their um, self or economy, their family, it will be much more a bigger problems. Yeah. So I think how the society can pay the bigger taxes if their income is every year is decreasing, yeah, and the expenses is higher. It's impossible. You burden the such a big obligation to the society that have a lot of burden of themselves. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. Anyone? Okay, we move to another slide. The next slide is how air pollution impacts our lives. Anyone? Okay, Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
Okay, air pollution will impact to our health for possible, of course, and the second, of course, for our environment also, yeah, because they're like the waste of from the fabric, they will be ruin the soil, right? But yeah, I think um our prophet is always said um plant the trees, and although uh, tomorrow is the end of the world, you have to plant a tree. What is the meaning of the our prophet said? It said that the tree can save your environment and can save your um, can save the impact of the uh, pollution matters, I think, because the trees is, if you are research of the trees, there is so many advantage of the trees, that not only the photosynthesis, but they can also um, waste the carbon dioxide, and they can make the oxygen also, and they can absorb the pollution. That's the important thing. And before you are discussing about the causes of the pollution, you have to know the advantage of the trees. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. Anyone? Okay, Mr. Ku, take your time.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot for the answer.
in addition to elaborate what Mr. Kalita said, talking about how air pollution impacts our lives. Yeah, maybe if, for instance, we are throwing the trash in our society, it doesn't mean that the impact will be huge to another place. For example, we throw the trash in a river, but do we realize that it will affect to another place? It will affect to blood and so on. Because yeah, if we do it personally, one by one, people will throw the trash in the river. Of course, will will affect to the new problem. What actually we can educate the society by way of utilizing social media in terms of creating content by doing an actions. What we can see in on social media, what Pandawara did, right, to clean up the dirtiest sea in Bandung, or the second dirtiest sea in the world. They try to make a content by way of inviting a lot of people to clean up the beach, because they felt that taking an actions to do it together, to take care of the society, to take care of the world, it doesn't mean that we have to hang on to the government, because the government has the rules to do it. They will pass through the hierarchy, what I call it, from the highest government will go down, 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 and down. How long we are going to wait for the actions if the society, the communities are not aware or unaware with the society itself or with the environment itself? Because why don't we try to take an action personally? It's different when we are as a policymaker or someone who has the power, someone who has a obligation and so forth. They can make rules, they can make they can make a law enforcement and so on to make an obligation, to make an yes obligations to take an action, not only talking, not only making, not only discussing, but taking an actions by way of um, realizing that we will live longer in terms of diminishing carbon emission and so forth, to switch on to save the world, the earth healthier than now. If we realize that our earth will be longer and longer, and we realize it. If we do not realize it, why we have to do it? Maybe what I can share. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kru. Anyone? Okay, we move to another slide.
Maybe you can invite someone who hasn't spoken up yet. Let them
Oh, okay.
deliver their
Okay.
perspective.
Okay, sir. Let me see the participant. Maybe Marhama?
Um,
Take your
actually,
time.
okay, thank you. So actually, my opinion about air pollution, so how air pollution impacts our lives. I only talk about from the health perspective, is that and also the environment, so that the air pollution is going to impact our health. For example, like the way that we breathe, we're going to breathe another substance besides oxygen. For example, like nitrogen or other substances. It can also make our heart. It can also make us hard to breathe the air. It also can make our health worse, like our skin becomes dry, or maybe our face becomes have a lot of acne. And for the environment is that the environment is going to get a lot foggier than the usual, because air pollution is going to become like smoky, like there's going to be it's like a fog, but it's smoke too. It's a fog made from smoke from the vehicles, and it's going to make our environment dry, and yeah, it's going to make our environment hard, or I could say our environment bad, like yeah, the air that we are going to breathe in, it's not pure air like an oxygen. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Miss Marhama. Anyone? Or maybe Miss Naila? No. Miss Suci Indah? Okay, we'll move to another slide. The next slide is, why is it so important to solve air pollution? Anyone? Miss Ekalita Sari, take your turn.
Of course, it's very important to solve air pollution because it connected to our health, yeah, and our clean environment, yeah, like for the organ, the yeah, like for your lung, your heart, and your your environment, of course, and then you can have more healthier life, of course, like in the country that they are really care about their environment, and they feel more fresh, right, and more healthier also, and the environment is more balanced too, yeah, and it can avoid disaster also if you maintain your environment, yeah, something like that. And maybe it's affected to your mindset also, because if you didn't care about uh, the environment, some people will always think about put the money in the first priority, right? But if you refer to the some countries that they can manage their economic and their needs of houses or buildings, and they can balance it with the environment, we see that they can solve the problems is more appropriate, and the society also didn't burden too much, and their economic can be running well because they can manage the economic with the rational things. It's different for the developed countries, right? Where is the political and economic and social is very messed up, and everyone just thinking about themselves. Yeah, like the government, they only care about their own affairs, and the society also like that because they are um uh, also have a lot of burden. Like I said, it's not only like an assumption. Yeah, we can see from the GDP and from the um what is it, the others standard, to know that the economic is can follow the environment and also or not. In developed country, it's totally messed up, right? Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. Anyone? Okay, Mr. Abdul Jabbar, take your time.
Hey, thank you, Andini. So, from my point of view, uh, it is obviously important to solve the air pollution, but how is it important? Because not only it affects our health, but it also, I believe it also affect to in economy in a long term. For example, air pollution can, it is proven that air pollution affect the productivity of people on working on working on doing their job. uh in instance, we can see that if we go to our job at the metropolitan area such as Jakarta, and we see the street is full of pollution, I think it will make some kind of mm, how do I say it? It makes some kind of demotivation, I think, regarding their way to do their job. So and also uh it is also, like I said before, it is also impact to health, which also which also impact to our vision distance. It is believed, it can be seen in China. There's some moment that the air pollution is very harsh, and even we can see a long distance vision in the metropolitan area. So I believe it is important to solve the air pollution problem, because it is not only affecting our health, but it is also affecting the economy in the long term.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abdul Jabbar. Another, maybe Miss Naila or Mr. Ku? Okay, Mr. Ku, take your time.
Well, why is it so important to solve air pollution? I reckon that what the previous say, living in developed countries will be challenging because they work faster rather than others. To do a lot of things quickly means that they will produce a lot of things, because faster and faster will create to say the trash or the effect of it. Do we consider if we do it, if we produce some things bigger, of course, how to say in English? Wait, the waste is also creates a bigger impact to the society. For example, what we can see in Bekasi, we have a lot of factories. Of course, there, when I lived there several years ago, it's hotter rather than others. The surrounding Bekasi, it has many factories. the temperature is increases because the effect of the factories. How do we diminish the case about it? Maybe I agree with the policy from one of the government which uplift what is the program, walking or cycling. They have a breakthrough about walking and cycling to go to work in order to reduce or diminish the case of traffic jam, and then they can reduce about the use of vehicles because walking, cycling, or utilizing public transportation will decrease the case. In terms of, it can be the bigger impact if the society, if the society realize it. Why? Okay, for example, nowadays, because the price of buying motorcycle is cheap, I call it on the tax of one vehicle. It's cheap. That's why for the egoistic person will add for one person, they must have one. Or if for upper person, middle to upper person, they not only have one, it can be more than one vehicle. Because of when I go somewhere, when I have a meeting, I will use this car. When I have traveling, I will use this car. It's only fulfilling the equity for the person. Do we consider about the bigger impact of it? If we come back to our personal life, we just need one vehicle, maybe one car, one bicycle, and one motorcycle. For all of them, why do we utilize the public transportation in order to diminish the case of traffic jam or increasing the air pollution? Because the percentage of increasing air pollution might be one example is industrial pollution. It can be transportation, it can be uh, a factory, the impact, the negative impact of factory. That some of cases we currently meet in our society. But I personally educate myself. Uh, why don't we use the green, how to say, green life or healthy life? We can change our lifestyle. What the previous speaker said about it. To switch on our lifestyle, to decrease our ego, might be healthier physically and to survive longer. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kru. Anyone? Again? Okay, the next slide is how do you know if the air around you is polluted? Anyone?
Interesting.
Maybe Marhama? Okay, take your time, Marhama.
Okay, so how do we know if the air around us is polluted? Is that when we breathe the air, we have a hard time to breathe it. It's like the air that we breathe in is going to be really short because it's not just about the substance is not just oxygen. The gas that we breathe, there could be another substance like nitrogen, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and other things. And you could also when the air around us makes our skin dry, make maybe have acne, And also, if it's really worse, uh, the air is going to get really foggy, and our eyesight is going to be uh not clear when we see things, especially from the higher ground. I think that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Marhama. Anyone? Maybe Miss Naila? No one?
Can I ask to the previous speaker? I personally have questions to you. How do you educate your yourself and your society by way of decreasing polluted air surrounding you with your capability? For the previous speaker, how do you educate yourself and your society surrounding you with your ability? For the previous speaker, who's that?
Oh, uh, so do you mean that how do I educate other people in my neighborhood, right? Um, so I'm I personally I've never been I mean like educating other people in my environment, but if I were to do that, uh, I could like you know like mm, introduce themselves about the substances and also the things that we do, uh, our habits that produce pollution, and how it affects the air, and how and when the air is already polluted, what will we feel about it? I mean, of course, when we feel the pure air, for example, like in um, mountains, we could feel that the air is very pure and we could easily breathe in. But when we are in a place where the air is very polluted, uh, it's become hard to breathe, and um, that's how I educated other people in my neighborhood.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, Miss Marhama.
yeah, I hope it answered your question.
Okay. Mr. Abdul Jabbar, take your time.
Okay, thank you. I think it's not as easy as we think if we want to know if the air around us is polluted, because back in the COVID-19 era, it is believed that the sky is blue, but however, the data from the app called Nafas is actually proof that the air quality has not improved when we are reducing our transportation, our mobility. And so the thing that I really think about, how do we know about if the air around us is polluted, is actually check on the social media and all the technology that provided from one of the apps. Like I said before, Nafas is and the thing is that the application is shows us all the live tracking data around Jakarta and around the city, and hopefully in it will spread around the city in Indonesia. So it is not as easy as see is it the sky or blue is blue or not, but it is more hard to say because mm, there's a particle called PM 2.5, which is around 2.5 22.5 microns, and we can't see it even though the sky are blue. That are pretty concerning if it is put in our body. So yeah, I think that's all from me. So it is not easy as we think to know if the air around us is polluted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abdul Jabbar. Anyone wants? Okay, Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
We know the air around us is polluted is first from ISPA, the increasing the ISPA patients ya, apa ISPA penderita itu apa sih, suffering ya, ISPA suffering. It can one of indicator that your air pollution apa your air around you is polluted. And the second, if you see the trees and there is a dust in their leaves, that's also indicate that your air around you is polluted, and they absorb the air pollution with their leaves. Yeah. And then the three is yeah, I agree with Miss siapa tadi, Naila apa siapa ya tadi, bukan Naila. And she said that the air is more heavy than if your air is not polluted, because if there is less polluted in your air, the oxygen composition is bigger, and there is no, and the timbal also will be minimized if, like Mr. Ku said, if everybody try to walking or cycling, I like in the Japan, I think, yeah, I agree, it will be decreasing apa the polluted the air pollution. But of course, it means that your office or your working space or your schools or study place is have to be near at your residence, right? And for zonasis, we know that it cannot be done because our society um, live live their lives uh, more regularly like a progress country. Yeah, because if we forcing them, they still use the vehicles, and about the education also more complex, and there will be more exclusive, and apa ya, moreover the education is can be more expensive and more yeah, like more segmented. Yeah, because not everybody can afford the large amount of expenses and something like that. So if you want to know the air around you is polluted, yeah, of course you can see the indicators. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. Anyone?
Mikrofon aku kenapa nggak jelas ya? I'm sorry. Huh?
No, it's clear.
There? Okay.
Anyone? Maybe Miss Naila? Maybe Miss Sucinda? Okay, no one. We move to another slide. The next slide is, what is climate change? Anyone?
I'm sorry, miss. I'm in out of town even.
Okay. Anyone? Okay. Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
As what I read, climate exchange is because of changing of the weather and the seasons also. So they can have a long long hot season or dry season, and the weather is very messed up, and the causes is because like efek rumah kaca itu bahasa Inggrisnya ya, rumah kaca tuh efek rumah kaca, yeah, something efek rumah kaca. And then the second is because we cutting our trees, and the the forest that function as the lung of lung for the world is decreasing, and we lost the protection from the forest. And then the atmosphere, yeah, the atmosphere is also become thinner. It because the effect rumah kaca and also the air pollution, yeah, something like that. And then also like I said, the perusakan lingkungan itu apa sih maksudnya bahasa the damages ya, the loss of environment, it will cause to the unbalanced environment, and then the temperature will be higher, and then it will cause our atmosphere, and then yeah, it will causing the climate exchange at the end.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. And anyone? Maybe, okay. Miss Suci Indah, take your time.
Okay, so as far as I know, is climate change. It's all about there is some changes in our weather, weather or how to say it, weather or temperatures in our environment, but not in it. It is in the long term. It is a long term shift. So it just like in let's say that in the whole year that when usually we will have some rainy seasons, and then we got the summer, the long streak of summer season, and or let's say that in tropical country that we couldn't have, and we don't have any rainy seasons anymore, or just like rainy season, it just become the shorter than before. So it's climate change as the how to say it, there is a shift, or there is a change in our temperature and weather, but it is in the long term one, so it's not a short term one. I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Miss Suci Indah. Anyone? Maybe Miss Marhama? Maybe Mr. Fu?
I think
Oh,
yeah.
Miss Marhama, take your time.
Pretty much, yeah. My answer is pretty much the same, like Miss Suci Indah, right? The previous speaker. So climate change is when there's a changing in the weather. For example, like the weather is going to be warmer weather or drier. Like in Indonesia, when it's drought season, there's a rain that's happening, which in the past it didn't happen, but now you couldn't really know when it's rainy season or drought season in Indonesia, because drought and rainy it's happen at the same time. So and it's climate change is going for a long term, like for maybe years, like decades or longer. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Miss Marhama. Anyone? Maybe Mr. Abdul Jabbar or Mr. Kru? Okay, take your time, Mr. Kru.
Right, yeah. In addition to share my perspective toward climate change, but several podcasters or economic 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 talk about zero emission or the decreasing of bigger percentage from emission carbon in 2045 or 2050. It can be lower and lower. I guess it will happen if we personally we are personally brave or not brave. We personally are aware of the cause or the effect of what we are doing. Moreover, in a massive scale, what I mean is throwing the trash wherever we are, cutting down the trees or illegal logging, or if we talk about how to say giving or letting the industrial revolution or transportation or vehicles, we talk about if we talk about the money, of course we must fight with the policymakers. And then back then it has a power. We call it the financial, right? But I would talk about the external one. The climate change will be increasing if we are not aware. Day by day it will happen. What we can see on social media in the how to say not northeast. My goodness, I lost the vocabulary here. Wait, the ice is freaking giant. How to say the Arctic pole is freaking giant because of the increasing of temperature. What we can realize it, we must be aware. If we want to live longer in the earth, of course we have to save it as a personally. Moreover, if you have power or obligations or as a politicians, as a president, as a government or someone else, why don't we utilize it to take care in a massive scale, not only in the small scale? What I mean is this one. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kru. Anyone? Again? No one? Okay, the next slide is what is the difference between climate change and global warming? Anyone? Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
Yeah, climate change is referred to the weather, the season, the like the apa the dry or the rain season or winter or what is it, musim semi itu apa ya, the yeah the the season is messed up, so the apa they supposed to have in 1 year have to 4 season or 2 season, but in climate exchange the season is like messing up, yeah, spring, right? Thank you. Yeah, but the global warming, it's revert to the hot temperature or higher temperature because of the, yeah, one of that is like Mr. Ku said, illegal logging or greenhouse effect, and it also global warming also revert to the melted of the ice, yeah, from the, I don't know, north or south um pole, yeah, something like that. That's the difference of between them, but they are connected each other.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalitasari. Anyone? Miss Marhama or Mr. Abdul Jabbar? Okay, Mr. Dedi Mustari, take your time.
Oh, I forgot to change my name. Hold up. It's supposed to be my nickname here. Okay. So good evening, Miss Andini. So as far as I'm concerned about the difference between climate change and global warming, it relies on what where it basically affects. Where we're talking about climate change, it affects the whole weather in all the situations all around the globe. But when we're talking about global warming, it affects only because the temperature raising up due to the intensity of gas spreading by the effect of green gases. That's the slight difference between climate change and global warming. But these two terminologies have also effect on each other, especially when we have constant or sequentially affected by global warming, then the effect of it could actually impact to the climate change as well. Because when we're having the heat, the heat up temperature over and over, it creates like the drought and like the easiness of getting fire in the forest that creates a even um, hotter temperature, which also bring up the other changing weather, which affect what we call as climate change. So both effect on the globe or in our Earth are what we base by the definition of climate change and global warming. Yeah, back to Miss Andini.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Demus. Another? Maybe Mr. Ku? Anyone? Maybe Miss Marhama or Miss Suci Indah? Okay, Miss Marhama, take your time.
Okay, so to be honest, that Mr. Uh, the answer the question, but I just wanna like give a little bit if climate change and yes, climate um, yeah, I mean global.
Miss Marhama, we cannot hear. Sorry, Miss Marhama, I cannot hear your voice.
Because of the greenhouse. What?
I cannot hear your voice. Yeah, I cannot hear your voice.
Can you hear my voice?
Maybe Miss
Wait,
Suci Indah?
let me.
Maybe Mrs. Chinda first.
Okay. I just want to add from the previous speaker. So you just like climate change is for global warming. First, for global warming, actually, it's just like a worldwide phenomenon. So it's for the global thing about the how the temperature generally got hotter or higher, like as the speaker said before, previous speaker said before. And then the climate change, it either regional or global. So actually, for global warming can lead to the climate change itself. So it just like and then the global warming, it's actually the causes of global warming, it's mostly happen because of the greenhouse gas emissions, and then it can lead to the climate change in some regional of the in the world. So it's not like the it's not always for the global. So let's say it just happen in some countries, like we on the news before that how in India how the weather is very hot, and then I think that is some of the examples of the climate change in the regional place.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Chinda. Miss Marhama, you want to continue?
Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yeah. Now I can hear. Take your time.
Oh, okay. So what I want to say is, climate change is that we talk about the weather in long term, but when we talk about global warming, it's about the temperature that is rising in our Earth. And about climate change and global warming, it's also have a connection, which that global warming is one of the factors of climate change. So from the greenhouse gases, there's global warming, and because of global warming, there's a climate change. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Marhama. Anyone? No one? Okay. The next slide is why climate change matters. Anyone's? Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
Of course, climate change matters. It will be, I don't know, it's my assumption, yeah. But I think climate change, it have relation with the disasters, because I think every season they have some direction, right? Some function of the every season, like the hot season is they are for apa maksudnya, like the winter, the spring, and um the all of the season is they are to balancing our environment, right? Like the dry season or the rainy season, they have some purpose of that. And if the climate exchange and if they are chaotic or messing up, it's maybe like the person that they have disturbing in their emotional, of course there will be like some distortion, right? Yeah, so I think maybe it can explain why in some area there are like eruption or apa like erosion, yeah, something like that. And maybe the eruption, maybe I don't know, is there any connection between the climate exchange to the disaster, like if the temperature is too hot and then the North Pole or South Pole is melted, you can imagine we can have the flooded, right? And if apa the the season is too hot or too long the dry season, and the plant it will be dried, and of course the balancing of the environment will be affected also, and the watering is also became problems. Moreover, if the source of the water is polluted also, and the sources is more limited if the drain season is too long, because we are depend our source of the water if from the um, soil, right? And then also from the rain, and for the mata air itu apa ya, the source of the water, ya, something like that. And I think the climate exchange will be affect to our environment also, of course, and the disaster, the natural disaster, yeah, they will be affected. They will be have connection to that causes, the causes per result, yeah, something like that. Causes, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalitasari. Miss Suci Indah, take your time.
Yes, I will have a short answer for this. Why it does matter, because for our sustainability and then for our descendants to have a better life ahead. So it's just like why it is matters for us to aware about it. And then it just like, let's say that for the, how to say, for romanticizing it, for to save the world or something like that, but it just like for our descendants to have a better life ahead. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Miss Suci Indah. Anyone? Maybe Mr. Demos or Mr. Crow?
Mr. Demus first is okay.
Oh yeah, thank you. Wow. Very pointy. Yeah, I think that climate change matter, it's very inevitable discussion, like for decades, that it changed the way we basically plan every single thing. I will bring up the point of view from people who are working in the agriculture industry, which climate change really does impact our production. Because if we don't think this is going to be our main issue, then there's no way that we're going to be, to improve our production. So why climate change matters in terms of the agriculture industry. First of all, is that because, of course, our main source of production is the land, and also the plants. These both things are something that affected directly by climate change, because the temperature raise up, then the way we trying to plant our seeds are basically changing, because we need water more, we need to have moistures more for our plants. And the way we plan for our forecasting, for using the fertilizers, as well as how we basically distribute our water for irrigation, are totally changed. We planned to basically install the pump for irrigation for our land in the middle of our this year, which was in May, if I'm not mistaken, but it changed because of the climate change. The prediction and also the climate change, the actual condition of our weather is significantly being drawn up. Like so far, brought back by the climate change, because this whole climate change effect creates a different situational, and then it becomes our really our board of directors discussion, how we basically solve to the ground of these matters, how we as the exporting for agriculture products in Indonesia have the glimpse upon solution for these matters. We even create one department which focuses to solve the climate change specifically for our productions. So for those of you who don't know what my company is, let me a little bit marketizing my company. So our product are basically processed fresh fruits. We're exporting pineapples. We're exporting a lot of fruits, bananas. If you're from Jabodetabek, you probably know Sun Pride. Is it recording? So I'm not supposed to, marketizing this product, but this type of fresh fruit products are easily to get run and to get destroyed by the climate change. So it's one of our main strategy constraint that we need to look at. So that's the reason why it really does matter for those people who are basically coming from different sectors. Probably climate change does not really matter for themselves, but it really does matter for those people who are working in agriculture. So yeah, that's my point of view from agriculture's point of view. And we're not only that our company is striving so hard for solving this issue, but I believe that it requires a lot of people, especially from other sectors, to contribute solving this issue. So yeah, back to Ms. Andini. I hope it gives another side point of view. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Demus. Mr. Kru?
All right. Yeah. Additionally, I would like to talk about what Mr. James said, that I'm with you in this case. Actually, I want to say disagree, but we talk about agricultural sector. What I want to talk about it is because both my parents are farmers. That's why I will try to elaborate on Mr. James said a bit, but it's a bit different with Mr. James because Mr. James work in factories. But my father and my mother are farmers. What I found it is in local society or environment is several years ago maybe the farmer can how they can accumulate when they can harvest the seed or the plant because the summer and yeah rainy season they can calculate it about what they have to plant it. For instance, in a rainy season, they do not plant chili. Why? Because the price will be decreasing, not increasing. Because when the chili has too much water, of course, it will be rotten. And then for the summer season, they will plant. It seems like tobacco and chili. Why? Because the price will be increasing. If you talk about it in my society back then, decade by decade, because of the climate change, it's increasing. Currently, it affects to the farmer. What Mr. Timu said about irrigation, about the contour of land, it's different for the few decades. Why? Because the temperature is hotter and hotter, then it's too much water. And then the source of water is increasing in terms of the source of the land itself. Yeah, it's one of the case in local culture or local environment from the farmers. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kru. Anyone again? Maybe Miss Marhana? No one? Okay, we move to another slide. Okay. How to reduce air pollution in Jakarta? Anyone? Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Ku that in Jakarta is like Tokyo, right? So I think they are have to try to walk more or cycling to their working place or apa school place, yeah, something like that. And then of course the trees, please maintain the trees and plant more trees. And if if you can apa if you can do more, like, yeah, I know it's related to the government or the foundation that care about the environment. Maybe you can make some like apa namanya, hutan buatan tuh bahasa Inggrisnya apa ya, like some garden or ya hutan buatan sih. I think it's more effective because it's like a lung of the town. Huh? Should I enroll myself a particular? Yes, of course. I think, yeah, it's from common people ya. Kalau gubernur pasti beda lah jawabannya, pasti lebih terukur ya, measurable. Yeah, but in my as my opinion as a common people, Jakarta need more green space, yeah, for their lung of town is just so it's like in New York City or Tokyo. They have, although they are big city, but they have some apa forest in their town, yeah. And of course for Jakarta, I think for the residents, they have to more aware, yeah, uh, for the next generation. I think the apa the they have more educated, right, from the old. Maybe for the old, they are too impossible to live in the flat or to have near office or schools. In nowadays the zonasi is impossible for us because our society is not prepared and they are many manufacturers. But I believe the next generation, when they are have more education and more apa healthy habit, they will be change the mess up, yeah, something like that. And of course tadi apa tadi, reduce air pollution, yeah. And of course the waste, yeah, the waste from the industry also have to be um consider also. And the power plant moreover is from the batubara is we know the pollution is very, for some country, mostly like America, they also have the same matters for us. In one in one site, they need the sectors for some people that still have to earn money from that section. But like I said, the more educate the generation and the more flexible and the more they are efficient, I think they will change or then overcome the matters, because it's about the perspective, yeah, and mindset. It's like when you are having some principles, you want violence the boundaries because you know what the consequences. And of course it's need some preparation and some commitment from you, right? And have to be the factors that supported you. Although you are a commitment person, but you have no supportive factors, it's useless. So we do hope that for the next generation, the parents will be more, the parent over the school, they will be more have like a role model for the our next generations. Yeah.
Andini, can you unmute your microphone?
Okay, sorry, Mr. Thank you, Miss Ekarita Sari. Another, maybe Misuchi, Mr. Kru. Okay, Mr. Kru, take your time.
In addition to answer these questions, maybe in the end of my sentence will turn to what Mr. Temu said. But what I have alluded previously, talking about reducing air pollution in Jakarta, by way of diminishing our selfishness to collect a lot of vehicles. For instance, I want to date with my first girl. I need to use my Rubicon, and then the second dating I will use Alphard, and the third date I will use what is that? Like motorcycle. My fourth date I will use my Pajero and so forth. Why it's only fulfilling the selfishness. What is update? They must follow the trendy. Of course, it in some way, in one side, it's okay. They can follow the trend, but in one side will affect to the the the, the negative side by way of increasing the pollution air because one person must own one vehicle. What I can say that why don't we utilize the public transportation in order to separate, in order to decrease the user of vehicles will not affect the traffic jam and polluted air, of course, because if we still use it too much of it, of course, it will happen. And then to be aware of it, of the middle to lower, maybe it's possible to do it, but I'm not sure if middle to upper because they have money and power. That's why what Mr. Timo said, maybe we can take a political ownership type thing to join in the internal system rather than we talk in the health external system by way of reducing the air pollution in our beloved country. Thank you very much. Maybe Mr. Timus will talk something later.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kru. Misuchi Indah,
Misuchi, was it?
Misuchi Indah, take your time.
Okay, so before Mr. Demis can add for Mr. Ku's opinion, so yeah, I totally agree with Mr. Ku. Just like actually, it's all about our lifestyle in Indonesia or Jakarta because like vehicle which is produced by Europeans consumed by us, right? And Asians. So actually, while they prefer to use like bicycle more, and then for us, they just like start from ourselves. Just to be honest, like one household can have like 3 or 4 vehicle in their house, like just let's say that for motorcycle only for 1 to 2 kilometers they prefer use motorcycles instead of walking. Like, come on, it's just only like 1 kilometers. Like, I have lots of friends that I have a lot of friends that how to say it, just like whining that like because come on, let's just walk. It's only it's near from here. It's quite near. And then they will what do you say about near? It's almost 1 kilometer. Like 1 kilometer is it's like we can how to say it, we can reach that place or by walking. It only takes maybe like 10 minutes or something. It just like it's not quite far to use to damage our environment or to contaminate it, our air, and then make some air pollution to use a motorcycle for that kind of jarak apa ya? I forgot about that. And so that is why, like, it's actually, even if the government already yeah, for that distance, even if the government already let's say in Jakarta we already have like MRT, LRT, busway, and so on. And then okay, we will use public transportation like busway. And then because the busway from our house, there is a like 1.5 kilometer from our house, and then we use private, not private, just like Gojek or Grab. It's still same, right? Where's the difference? It's still like we still have some we still make some we still polluted our air. So just like to reduce our selfishness, just following the trend or something like that. Like when you don't really need the vehicle, why you buy it, or even like updated your vehicle, just like Mr. Koo said. Yeah, I think that's all. It's all about lifestyle. I mean, not because like, oh, our government already tried hard, and then they already tried their best. But I think that we need to make a change from ourselves instead, for our lifestyle, for sustainability. I think that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Suci Indah. Mr. Demus?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. Please vote for me as the, for the election of governor of Jakarta for 2030 with my vice governor here, Mr. Koo. So how we reduce air pollution in Jakarta? So basically, it's always like a really long term planning for people to plan how basically they mitigate this solution. I echo with a lot of people who are saying that it's a matter of your lifestyle. I absolutely agree. The fact that Chiliwong and other river are entitled by the most polluted river, because the unmanagement of our lifestyles, as well as the unawareness of our sensor to basically mitigate the issues, because it's recorded, so I cannot say that, oh, this is the matter of that. Okay, so basically this all situation currently that happened into Jakarta, such as like how they are drowning year by year for several centimeters, and how they basically move the political stadium to Borneo, or also the fact that we're not ready to solve this issue. So how we reduce the air pollution? First, I think that unless other than changing the eco-friendly lifestyle, I think we also need to create several regulation. I think regulation are not really effective, but then let's just say, to add some information, that regulation for changing the lifestyle, and how I think Jakarta already implemented the area that can be passed by certain number of transportation. Like if you're using the odd number of plate for your car, then you cannot, get through certain, in the some, in some part of days. Like, oh, if you have odd number of plate, then you cannot get through certain areas in Jakarta on Wednesday, or example. I think that's actually I chose runway option for 5 years. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's how government tried to solve the issue. But I think that to solve as well about the pollution, some probably other competitor wants to debate. Okay. I think unless the lifestyle and also government helps out with the regulation, I think it's also from the way our Indonesian society, especially in Jakarta, to reduce the certain, what's that called again? The chimney, to basically just allow to burn everything's like the way one they solve the to actually to get warmer, or they want to the policy for the plate number makes some people have reason to have another vehicles. Yeah, so they will have more vehicles, right? So basically, like artists, they will have 2 or 3 cars. Absolutely great. Yeah, or they will just have free transportation or for one day. If I'm not mistaken, when I was in South Jakarta, I think it's on Sunday. There is a path there. There's a road that it's free of transportation. Either it's car, either it's motorbike. So I think it's quite good. But still, it affects that a lot of people are going on the road. They're just crawling, and it becomes so populated. I can't even get through to get into my office at that time. Then there's the reason why I moved to Lampung. Anyway, so I think that so you can change the way your lifestyle, and also the way government regulate the people, as well as how you limit the to burning several trash that in your houses, as well as I think I forgot the fact that there's one place in Bekasi that only take care of all the trashes from Jakarta. I forgot the name. I think it's Bantar Gebang. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, right? In Bekasi. And you know what? This all trashes scattered into one place in Bantar Gebang, it becomes one of the biggest landfill for trashes in Southeast Asia in 2018. I have no idea about 2023, so please, renew my information. This is so shocking to the fact it becomes a new method. Exactly. I was there, and somebody actually selling, meatball there. I was like, can somebody even live there? I want to eat, but it's so super challenging for my nose, especially for those people who never smell something that it's really affected my senses. And I didn't know how it really affected the Jakarta, because the solution there, the trashes coming from inorganic trashes are not easily to manage there. So one of the method for solving that, unless they're recycling, they have to burn as well. So it becomes a really huge amount of trashes. The organic one, they're not really solving it directly. They have to make it to be the fertilizer, but in the separated place, if I'm mistaken, in a certain area of that. So we can tell that Indonesian society, especially in Jakarta, are not well educated enough to mitigate their trashes, as well as how they, to have eco-friendly lifestyle. So I think that a lot of people need to create more discourse to help them understand how important it is to mitigate and have the eco-friendly lifestyle, so that we have less air pollution, as well as that government help them to reduce the pollution coming from this transportation. I think just erase all the transportation from Jakarta. I think it really helps. If I had to be government, don't use transportation. If you want to go from Cilandak to SCBD, just walk for 9 kilometers, and let's see whether or not you're getting healthy, because that's what happened to me at that time. And let me tell you that I got typhus. I got I got fever after that. So I think it's really one of the solution that we can attend, right? So Israel for Jakarta. Yes, please vote for number 10. I think that's all, Miss Andini. If you want to see a better Jakarta, vote for me and Mr. Ku.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Demos. Well, we're gonna move to another slide. Okay, give your best opinion about these questions. Is strict law enforcement against industries the best solution to tackle air pollution? Anyone? Maybe. Okay. Miss Marhama, take your time.
Okay, so this is my opinion. So is strict law enforcement against industries the best solution to tackle air pollution? For me, I kind of disagree about this because industries is what we need for our country to grow. So I think that the best solution is for the government to limit the industries that were built in a few years by now. Like for example, they limit in 10 years there could there can only be a few industries that were built and used in Jakarta, for example. Because if we really going against industries, then I mean there could be difficulties in our economic. So that's why that maybe the best solution is not against industries, but maybe limit the industries that grow in our city. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Miss Marhama. Anyone? Miss Ekalita Sari, take your time.
If you mean the strict law enforcement against industries is like you are taking their permission, right? Izin itu permission ya?
Yeah.
Ya, permission to apa sih usaha itu ya? You will make another problems, yeah, because there will be like jobless, PHK, something like that, and bankrupt. And I refer to acquisition, yeah. So you give the business to other people that can run the business is more obey the environment law. That will be a better solution. So the employee doesn't have to lose their jobs, and maybe their income can be increased because the new management and owner, they will be more care about the environment and the labor apa the labor undang-undang itu apa sih, the labor law something like statute, something like that, and they will be more focused to the social and economical problems. Because if you just take their permission, you, how you overcome the jobless of the employee? They need the job, right? And also the society maybe will be need their service or their products for their supply. So I will be more agree if the owner or the management is replaced. So it's like acquisition, something like that. And then maybe the government is have more to be selective when they give the permission business to someone. They have to make sure that the owner or the management can running the business well, and they can also obey the boundaries, yeah, mostly for the principles, laws like environment, like labor, and yeah, something that very effective to our society.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ekalita Sari. Anyone? Maybe Mr. Crew?
Right. Thanks for the last chance. I cannot talk longer. It's a strict law enforcement against industry is the solution to tackle air pollution. With regard to talk about it, is yeah, the law must be strict. Why? Because it's a legal protection to protect everything in our to protect industry, to protect the product, to protect the import export, or to protect the rules in our country. Why? Because if the law enforcement is not strict or strong enough, how could they take how could they take, I would say, decision about it? But of course, back then we fight with the we fight with in industry we fight with the mob, might as well, or someone who controls the system itself. If they have or moreover, they have a bigger power and they have a bigger a system, a stakeholders. Whether they are a politician or whether the stakeholders or whether they are a businessman. What I mean is, last week I met one of politician. Actually, it suddenly I met him. It's because of I how to say I planned it to meet with, but because of I just hang out and I met him and he told me about everything, how the parties work. You know, the party costs the money from the government. It depends on how many, how to say, how many people can become the how to say in English, it's very difficult. Parliament, DPR, right?
Parliament.
Yeah, representative as a representative in government. If they can be more than one, or they can be bigger amount of people, of course they will get a lot of money from the government. Uh, why? What if the parties doesn't give a representative person to the government? Of course, they don't get any money from the government. They will maybe collect the money from the members of the membership. Maybe that's what I got it from the politician. That's why the strict must be, sorry, the law enforcement must be strict. Of course, it's the legal protection to protect the industry. If it's nationally, of course, if we talk about internationally, talking about export and import, maybe something like that. That's why I suggest is smart is not enough. That's why we have to make a relation with the bigger people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crew. Mr. Demos, take your time.
Yeah, I think we almost ran out of time, so I'll make it quick. Um, is the strict law enforcement against industries the best solution? The best, no. But if you say that it helps, yes. First of all, as someone who works in industry, especially for the like agriculture industries, it is inevitable that we also produce a lot of like carbon gas emission, which we are strictly regulated by government and by international agency, which is in an international carbon agency, to basically seeing how many pollution emission that we produce in our production. And this strict law enforcement creates the efficacy and also expediency of our permit. If we don't follow the regulation, then our permit of exporting, as well as to create better marketing and the traceability for our products are being decreased or even dismissed by this agency, or even we're not allowed to export our production to other countries. So this very strict law enforcement towards our industry creates a better system of quality assurance, and we have to implement the international standard operation, or ISO, that we implement to our production to help the emission of our gas emission, to reduce the gas emission from our production. And so the strict law enforcement basically also strict other industry all around Indonesia, so that they have to get the permit by the reliable agencies that they can actually take care of the pollution that they create. As well as that, if I'm not mistaken, there's a regulation where you basically are allowed to sell your carbon emission. This says we can basically sell carbon, which is very unpredicted long time ago. Now it becomes one of the main leading business these days, that even your emission can be a source of income. And in my company, we recently plan to to use our carbon emission to be sold, even though it is not our main production, because it could be a circular economy, because we implement circular economy in our industry. But then it couldn't be the line product to be sold, because our main sector is FMCG. So if you add carbon selling into FMCG sector, it becomes contradict. Yeah, I'm sorry, I need water. So yeah, so it's not the best solution, but it really helps for the to decrease the emission, the pollution from the industry. So yeah, back to Andini. I think we're out of time. Sorry for
Okay.
throat.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Demus. Anyone wants? I think it's done. It's done, Mr. Okay. It's done for today's meeting. The conclusion is that we must save our world, because it's everyone's responsibility to save our world. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Wow, it's captivating discussion. Spoke about this meeting. Actually, it's how to say, it takes efforts to talk about it, because you have to elaborate more. Even though we have no policy, we have no obligation, maybe we can support Mr. Demus as the one of representative from our community to be
Yeah, I think I want
policymaker.
her to be our public relation for our party, right? So we're going to invite you for sure.
All right,
I
I will.
agree. He knows he conquered executive area and also the legislative, so he know the practical and also the law. Yeah, and when he said that enforcement law, it can be helped, but not the best solution, because in the practical, yeah, if you are too strict to the law and you don't have any solution, you will make the bigger problem like social and economic. The society will be the apa korban tuh apa ya? Apa sih?
Victim.
Yeah, victim, yeah, something like that. Because the owner, they have savings. They can make another company and they can survive. But the employee and the people that have to depend to their business, they will be suffering. Yeah, and they will be like accumulated problems, like the government always said. So if you are just enforcing the law, but you didn't give them alternatives or solution, like yeah, I agree with Mr. Demus. It will help, but not the best solution. Yeah, you better watch out because your society will be have the effect, and they also will the poverty, the mostly, yeah, it will be increasingly when the business is run out and the owners is more smarter. You have to calculate it that also in the next they can solve the problem more smarter than you can thought. So I think I better prefer that when you give the permission you have to be selective, because in progress country apa negara maju, when they give the permission they just be selective like that, because the commitment person, they will be helping the government and the society to overcome the problems. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for additional perspective. This one tadi ada typo ya. It was any typo? Where do, not where does ya. Where do, because the subject is you. So it refers to where do you think? Not where does you think. Does you. If Japanese we call it does you. That's and then the way how we say other way to say important maybe can be crucial, significance, indispensable, essential, and it can be more. We can use variative word in order to increase, in order to advance our speaking. Suffer, menderita, it's verb. Suffer means penderita. We have to put a er. Use and user. Use means menggunakan, user means pengguna. Greenhouse effect, efek rumah kaca spring. Nanti dibantu sama Miss Suci, thank you. And then it is river. River itu adalah verb ya. It refers to. It should be referred to, not it is river. Descendant, keturunan, anak cucu, artificial forest. It can be hutan buatan. Maybe that's all I can give evaluation today. Lot of how to say corrections or evaluations because I really enjoyed the discussion. Moreover, when the Demus comes to this jungle. Okay, for others, I allow you to open up your camera. Are you going to just our meeting? Miss Suci, long time to see you. Where are you now? Are you still in Papua or are you have you come back to
I am in the West Nusa Tenggara.
have you
Right
done
now?
for your project? Have you done?
Yes. So I just come back from Papua last March, and then now I'm working in Kepulauan Sumbawa Barat, also for
What-
education
Sumbawa.
here.
What kind of project? What kind of project, Miss Suci?
Now I'm working on the PAUD Prestasi from the NGO called Inspirasi. It's for to develop the principal and the teachers' capacity. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, because I met you several months ago. It's been a long time that meeting you
Yes.
again.
Now I'm not a volunteer. I'm a worker now.
Oh, worker, not volunteer. Because the owner,
Not as a
no, it's not
volunteer.
you, but it's still recording. You're the owner of if you're the volunteer, you know, the founding father.
Wow.
No, I'm
Because
not the
become
founder.
prominent people nowadays. Prominent people. Okay, marhaba, hi.
So that is
And
Okay, so
Yeah.
actually, that is why actually I can't really relate about the topic because I already run away from the Jakarta. So I see a beautiful sunset and then beautiful blue sky every day. So yeah, I'm just kasihan aja sama orang Jakarta.
So pity.
I feel you.
Miss Marhama, would you mind showing your good-looking face? It doesn't matter. Don't use skincare. Miss Eka, Lita, hello. Miss
I
Marhama.
already have
I
surgery
can't
for
really turn on my camera.
okay.
Okay. Okay, let me take a picture. Yep, count it until 3. 1, 2, 3. Once more. 1. Wait. Mana punya apa? Wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. All right, thank you very much for your coming. Hope to see you again in the weekly discussion and next week with a different topic. Of course, before we end our meeting, we have yeah. When I say
Yeah,
otak community, all of you answer yes
Red
today and yes
Bull.
tomorrow.
Oh,
Otak
I
community,
thought
yes
You're
today,
okay.
welcome. Thank you,
Tuesday,
everyone.
tomorrow. Right.
Thank
Thank you very much.
you.
Have a lovely
Thank
weekend
you.
and go back to
Tomorrow.
your
Thank you,
weekly
Miss
activity. Weekly
Andini.
Welcome.
activity. Weekly
Yeah,
activity.
you're
And
See
welcome.
you too.
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
You. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Mister.
Yeah, anytime, Andini.